Good morning. This is me literally having coffee in the morning. I always wake up with some amazing ideas and insights, and I'm intending to do this whiteboard to share these insights more fully. So this is a teaching about what ascension truly is and what ascension truly isn't. And part of it is a clarification based upon my work. So first I'm going to draw this time vortex, which people who have taken my class are very, very familiar with. I know that's not a very good vortex. Sorry, my pen sometimes is not that easy to control. Okay, so please understand that this is a volumetric shape, but that I'm drawing it as a flat two-dimensional cross-section. Please also understand that this represents a field of time, with 0 being the beginning of a timeline down here, essentially your birth, and with time moving upward in this direction. That upward arrow is what I'm going to speak to today. In this drawing, I almost always have this central core timeline, which is meant to be like a straight arrow that goes upward and through this tiny opening at the top. And this tiny opening here, I'm highlighting it in blue, is actually a tiny wormhole. I'm drawing it very large, but it's supposed to be an aperture that is literally just as skinny as one timeline, that there's really only one timeline pathway, one pathway, the path of least likelihood that can possibly go through that wormhole, and that it is essentially your life's purpose to explore all of these alternative timelines in the journey of eventually moving closer and closer and closer into alignment with this central one over here. And please understand, just briefly for anyone who's new to this, that I'm not just drawing from the left side to the right side. These are all concurrent because this is a cross section, and also that these are not timelines like a stick, like a lollipop. These are actually time spirals. They actually go in a pathway like this. But for the ease of my drawing of this diagram, so that it is not confusing, I simply draw them as going upward like this. And then also please understand that this membrane over here is a flowing membrane. I call it the flowing membrane of death, and it goes in this direction, so that essentially here is the pathway of consciousness when it emerges from infinity over here. It assembles out here into the physicality realm. It travels upward on this timeline. If it hits the membrane of death, it then goes back down here to the next position, and it travels upward. And if it hits the membrane of death, it goes back again. And that this is a looping but ever refining journey or trajectory that represents the eventual alignment with this position here, that then brings you out of the wormhole. But that is not the end of your journey. I say this in my class all the time. When that happens, you simply assemble into the next level, the next dimension, beginning your refinery process again. And again, all of this is not meant to be a harvesting of energy, an imprisonment, a battery, something that is evil or malevolent, something that is like the karmic washing machine where you're going through it over and over and over in some sense of profound ennui or existential crisis. This is meant to be like a very accurate and good way of refining energy in the cosmos, so that you're going, I'll go back to my face for a moment here and grab a sculpture over here because this speaks much more clearly than just words. Going from an angle at like this, these are your chakras of your body. When it's at an angle like this, you hit the membrane of death. But when you align those chakras and you are able to align with this central point here, which is the 0th dimension, God, the source, the emitter of all timelines, and also the destination of all timelines. Everything returns to that place. When you align with that, this is that purple timeline that goes up the central core. So this is actually a very beautiful, flawless, perpetual motion machine system that is fantastic, that is not meant to be an imprisonment system at all. So back to this whiteboard. Why am I sharing this with you today? That's all recap from my class, because what I want to talk about is the concept of what is ascension. From this diagram, and many other things that are cultural precepts, everyone, not everyone, many people have been considering that ascension is a linear journey from point A over here up to point B over here, where it's like, hooray, 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 I'm ascended. And that, let's say in the new age language that's going on right now, this is 3D. And I know it's hard to write with this pen, so just bear with me, right? And then here's 5D, what people are talking about, fifth density, because I talk about dimensions, and that's why the D always confused me. And then up here, 12D, and then up here, 15 million D to the 32nd exponent, the highest D possible, and then over here, infinity. I want you to know that the journey of ascension is not a linear journey. I want you to throw this model out the window right now. Throw it out the window, crumple it up like a piece of paper, throw it out the window. That is not what the ascension journey is about. The ascension journey is a non-linear journey. It is the journey to the I am God moment. The I am God moment is not something that is only for one person. It is actually a universal moment. I'm circling this in black, but the I am God moment over here, it actually should be presented as white light. Like I'm making a little tiny white dot there. That's the I am God moment, like with like wonderful rays of light coming off of that moment. Like when you have a connection and wonderful profusion of light comes from it. So everything about this journey of refining your consciousness, refining your life characteristics, refining who you are as a person, releasing emotional ballast, and aligning with this central pathway is all about getting to that moment of reconnection with your own divinity, that you emanate from this divine presence into physical reality, have life, have all these experiences, get confused, and then eventually you reconnect with that moment. Reconnection with that moment is not synonymous with death. Far from it. Death is what happens when you hit these membranes. When you have that I am God moment, you are essentially completing a circuit. Here's a circuit, a big giant loop, a time loop that brings you from the source back to the source, which is also your destination. And you realize, I emitted myself. I made myself. I made all of this reality structure here. I made everything in existence. And that moment of reconnection is the I am God moment. It is a very profound experience. And when you make that moment connection, you have the I am God realization, you don't just be like this, like, oh, like I've been sent down here, quote unquote, culturally, the fall from grace, the fall from Eden, the fall of Atlantis, and you're a bad person and a sinner. In case you can't tell and don't have an irony sensor, being hugely ironic and sarcastic with my voice and my vocal tones, because that is not what I agree at all. You did not fall. You did come and emanate yourself into reality, and reality is not meant to be a punishment. And then also this sense of having to endure, like you're climbing a mountain and it's so hard and it's so hard and so hard. None of that is the way that this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a beautiful journey, and a beautiful journey of enlightenment and self-knowledge. And as you are going through your enlightenment process, you are affecting other people's lives and helping them to come into greater knowledge and acknowledgement of their own God self. And this is also not a solitary experience when you come back to God over here. And God, when I speak of this, is not the anthropomorphic or anthropocentric God, like God of the human scriptures, be they Judeo-Christian or Hindu or whatever earth surface religion you're talking about an abstract God, a God that is a God of mathematical probabilities and possibilities, that creates matter, creates life, sustains the possibility structure of the cosmos, not something that has a human face. When you return to that sense of I am God, and you have that I am God moment, you do not then fall over. You don't fall over again. You reach that I am God moment. And let's say these are the thought structures that say, I am God, I am God. You continue to exist at that moment. You get there and you keep on sending out these thought waveforms. I am God, I am God, I am God. And I am God, this truthfulness, this word, does not mean I'm the only God and no one else is God. It means I am God. And you recognize that every single other organism and creature is on this journey to have that I am God moment, including microbes, dolphins, redwood trees, the planet herself, the entire galaxy, all stars everywhere, all of these points of consciousness are returning to that profound knowledge and moment of realization that is, I am God. And also, it's an overlapping moment where all of these here, I know you can't see them easily on your screen, but all of these yellow dots are I am God moments. You might say, like, well, this one happened 50,000 years ago, and then this one happened 2,000 years ago, and then this one happened last week, and then this is the one that's happening right now. But they're actually non-local, meaning that this is a network that is drawn together beyond the limits of linear time, so that literally all of these I am God moments are tied together into the same moment, and that every single one of these organisms is actually you, which is wearing a different face, coming into this level of self-realization. This I am God moment is not a linear journey. It's not something that happens that you then come out of. You're not like, oh, I got to the I am God moment and then I got distracted. I just spilled coffee on my sweater and I fell out of my remembrance and knowledge and knowingness that I am God. That doesn't happen. And that speaks to part of the primary trauma of having been separated from God and doing this return journey, and what this whole experience of circulating through time over here has been like for many, many people. But no, it's not it's fear of loss. You're not going to lose it. It's also the grief of the loss of the experiences that you've had from being cut off from God's self. You're not going to lose it. So when I talk about this linear journey conception, which has to do a lot with the linear concept of time and also human hierarchical primate monkey structures in your brain, you think like, here's 3D down here and here's 5D down here. Definitely 5 is above 3. 5 is better than 3. 5 people are better than 3. Monkey primate hierarchy. Please be aware of those as pitfalls or ego flaws that exist in terms of basic ego and neurological structuring as it relates to social dynamics in your world. You're used to who is on top of the pyramid, who is the boss, who's the leader. I look up to you, literally look up to you, linear pyramid-shaped hierarchies. And what I'm talking about when I talk about this I am God hierarchy is very much a lateral field, not a linear pyramid, a lateral field of many, many, many connected I am God dots. And then, so when you're in this linear sense, you're like, well, if I'm in 3D, I'm this much ascended. If I'm in 5D, I'm this much ascended. If I'm in 12D, I'm this much ascended. If I'm in 13 million to the 35th power D, I'm this much ascended. It makes the capacity for comparison, which is a hugely flawed capacity, and the capacity for projecting judgments of better, worse, I'm more than you, I'm more qualified than you, I'm less qualified than you, all of that hierarchical aspect is incredibly flawed, and that it's not something that is a linear journey, because as I get back to my face, when I talk about this is one chakra or time field energy system on your body, but you have many, many, many multiple nested chakras, and they are like this, but they are coming into alignment like this. So let's say if I bring up a drawing here really, really fast. Hold on one second. I want to bring up this drawing. And now I squint at my screen. Hold on, just to bear with me. Thank you. I wanted this to be okay. You have all 7 major chakras, but you have many, 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 almost an infinite number of many multiple chakras. One of them can be at an angle, oops, just draw that a little bit more clearly. One of them can be at an angle like this, and one of them can be at an angle like this, and one of them can be totally perfectly in alignment, and one of them could be at an angle like this, and one of them could be at an angle like this. There is a huge combination, huge number of variables relating to a huge number of combinations that would accurately denote, quote unquote, how ascended are you? Like one chakra is like this, one chakra is like this, one chakra is like this. That means one of them is doing great, 2 of them need work and improvement. It is a non-linear assessment to be able to say, how ascended is this person? Are they 3D? Are they 5D? Are they 12D? What number value would we denote to them? And then what if we had someone who was this one perfectly in alignment, this one this much out of alignment, this one this much in alignment? That would also, how would I compare these 2 structures, this guy versus this guy? Again, the monkey primate hierarchy. Who's going to be the leader? You were more ascended than me. Am I more this than you? Am I more that than you? All of that is profoundly flawed. Profoundly flawed in considering and assessing what is the journey of ascension. And instead of ending on that negative, what this is not, I want to end on a positive, what this is. If I go back to this and I say, a more accurate aspect or description of what ascension is, or what it feels like, or what you're going to be experiencing. I'm trying to do this thing where I can draw here. Each one of these, oh, come on, oh, silliness. Hold on a moment. Let's go back. I'm trying to just get this little pen so that I can draw on the drawing. Draw on the drawing. Thank you. This spot here, that is white. That's that totality, presence, infinity, the zeroth dimension, God, yourself. When you identify with and embody all of these little points as your embodiment points, that is when you ascend, and you don't unascend. This is what it is to become an ascended master. And these are, of course, 7 major chakras, even though I know I didn't draw the red one, which is here. Those are all of your major chakras. But then I'm going to draw 10 million different points of light that are all throughout your body. These are all inside of your molecular structure, your atomic structure, your DNA structure, the cells of your body. Each one of these represents one of these infinity points or singularity structures, doorways to infinity. It's God, it's your destination, it's where you're returning back to. You have just, if I sat here all day drawing dots, it'd still not be enough time to be able to draw dots. What you end up doing is aligning your self-identification with all of those infinity points within you. That is what it is to ascend. So these are colloquialisms or distortion conveniences, like when I draw my 2-dimensional cross section of something that is actually 3-dimensional. Please only use the linear model of ascension as a knowingly flawed and inadequate model for describing an inner realignment process that is nonlinear, and that has to do with, at the end, not going up. This is my big thing. Yeah, you can sense my agitation and excitement at communicating this to you, because everybody thinks you have to fly up, like Christian rapture, going to go from the surface of the earth, fly upward into the heavens. People think flying upward, even internally in your mind, you might have a sense of like, I have to shoot up out through the top of my head or something like that. And I'm trying to give you a more accurate map of what the behavior patterns, like the dance patterns of the energy in your body, is not a linear pattern, like to go from the bottoms of your feet up to the top of your head and then out through the top of your head. And then if you go up 2 feet, then you'll be ascended and you'll be an ascended master. That is not accurate. So that is, again, based in the linear presumptive perception of time, and also some of your biological hardware in terms of human primate hierarchical thinking, and also cultural precepts. Like, I won't cast aspersions, but I will simply say that this model of 3D, 5D, 12D is not accurate and not naturally occurring, although it has become quite pervasive, that I feel like I have to speak to it, that the real ascension process, the dance, the movement of your energy, that is what it feels like to ascend. Again, it's not this sense of like coming upward from your legs and then upward to the top of your head. It is a refocusing into all of these inner portals to infinity that are inside of yourself already. The words belie my meaning. It's hard for me to even put it into words, but the activity, like, I want you to know, like, if you're thinking like I'm driving a car or flying a rocket ship and I have to fly up and out through the top of my head or go from Earth's surface upward or something like that, that is not how I perceive this journey. And in many ways, I feel very protective of other people, wanting to protect you from lies and distortions or other things that might negatively influence you on your journey. I don't want you to be afraid, because just be in the knowingness and solid faith that like you'll get to wherever you need to go. I want to offer you an alternative of accuracy from the many things that I perceive out there. So yes, as I woke up this morning and as I've been focusing my inner attention on these different topics, I really recognize like I need to speak to this in order to send out this accurate information, accurate signal to the other organisms that are having this experience here. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being open to my energy field and to the ideas that I share here. Thank you for considering what I offer, and I offer these ideas to you completely in freedom, in the sense that I would like for you to comprehend them, assess them, taste them with your own mind, see what feels in alignment to you, what is your truth, and that then align with and embody and live the truth of what you know to be true. So again, I live in freedom. I offer you these thoughts in freedom. I do not impose them upon you or say you must think in this way. I offer them to you on a platter. Like, would you like some of these thoughts? They are offered to you. And that is everything about who I am and where I come from in terms of galactic society. I thank you profoundly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Aurora. Thank you.